Hi, welcome to Introduction to EFT. My name is Ling Fai Hoi. I'm the founder of Mindpower, located in Duarte, California. So, I would like to just share a little bit information when it comes to EFT. So, what is EFT? EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It is a simple and effective technique that can be learned by anyone, and you can basically use it for yourself, family, friends, clients, colleagues, or all of the above. Now, keep that in mind as it's very important for those of you who encounter people who have serious psychological problems such as multiple personalities, paranoia, schizophrenia, and other serious mental disorders. Please make sure you consult those mental health professionals before using these techniques on those people. Now, EFT basically works with the body's energy system. For those of you who are familiar with acupuncture, acupressure, any other energy modalities, I'm sure for those of you who have done something in that nature, you should be a little bit more familiar with energy system in our body. Now, for those of you who don't know anything at all, this is like a brand new topic to you. Perhaps this will give you a glimpse of idea, a way for you to get to understand this technique just enough for you to be able to be interested in learning more for yourself. Okay? Now, the electrical system, the subtle energy that runs through the body is carried through the tiny little pathways in our body, which is called the meridians. Okay? This is basically the same meridians that people use in acupuncture or acupressure. Now, EFT is basically found on the concept that the cause of all negative emotions is a disruption in our body's energy system. Now, when we are not feeling well physically or even emotionally, the energy flow tend to have this what we call disruption or congestion in my terms, uh, that a person may experience some sort of, like, for example, like pain in the physical body, or angry, feeling angry. The anger as a form of emotion can also be what I call a manifestation of a congestion in our energy system. So basically, our unresolved negative emotions are the major contributors to most physical pains and disease. Think about it. When we are stressed for a prolonged period of time of stress, eventually it's gonna do some harm to our physical body. So when we're stressed, for the most part, people tend to go to the gym, just go for a run. Nowadays, a lot of people will go into what we call more spiritual practice, yoga, meditation, tai chi, qigong, and so forth. Some people may just go for a bike ride. Some people may just simply go to the beach, go on hiking. Just do something else to de-stress, okay? Now, EFT is basically a method of tapping with the fingertips along the body's energy meridians and while tuning into a specific problem. Now, specific problem, okay? I know that when it comes to emotions, usually it's not talk about just one emotion. When we talk about emotions, it's usually in terms of multiple emotions. Um, so when we use EFT, we have to be able to be as specific as possible, tackle one thing at a time. Okay, so by tapping with the fingertips along the meridians, only find the 10 points. In my lecture here today is basically using the 10 points bilaterally. I actually recommend people to do it bilaterally, not just one side of your body, only because movement is good. Sometimes when we get so stuck on something or in a situation or feeling a certain way, we tend to get stuck, like quote unquote stuck, and then we tend not to move our bodies. Okay, so to do bilaterally is basically to make a person to really engage into the whole practice by moving and say it out loud. Okay, I'll explain a little bit more. So by tapping, we can basically resolve the energy disruption that continues to trigger the same problem. This is powerful. I know that in my case, I actually get certified and learn about EFT 2 years before I actually use this technique on myself and also on my current clients. Think about that. I'll call myself being arrogant and ignorant at the beginning because my background is in acupuncture. So when it is talking about the tapping, I was like, well, in acupuncture, we have to needle somebody. We have to use needles to poke somebody in order to really make the chi or that energy to flow. How much can you accomplish by simply tapping onto the meridians or on the acupoints? It's not as powerful. See, at the time that I really make a presumption. I really not necessarily paying too close attention when it comes to the emotion part without thinking about like, yeah, you know what, by tuning into a specific problem, a specific emotion, not necessarily something too nice. Talk about the negative emotions, for example, anger, frustration, sadness, resentment. Without tuning into a specific emotions by tapping, of course it won't work. So the key element is not just about the tapping, but also be able to tune into the specific problem or emotions, that feeling. And when we tap on it, then it will create an amazing, amazing result. I personally experienced that uh, 2 years after I got my certification. So I would love for every single one of you really do your research and look into this specific technique. You can even go to Amazon.com to get some books. Okay, it's very inexpensive, very informative, and everybody can do it. You don't have to have any traditional training in acupuncture, marine theories, or any other energy modalities. This can be an excellent tool for everyone. Simple. Even a little kid can use the same technique. Okay, so what now known as EFT was basically discovered by accident. It was discovered and developed by a psychologist by the name of Dr. Roger Callahan back in 1980s in Southern California. So I kind of like it because I'm coming from California. I'm in Los Angeles, California. So knowing that this technique was basically originally founded or discovered here in Southern California. So Dr. Callahan developed this thought field therapy, and Gary Craig at the time was studying under Dr. Callahan. So what Gary did was that he learned from him, learned a lot actually, and I guess he's just like kind of like myself. I learned so many different things and trying to simplify and streamline all the things and knowledge that I've learned and make it simple. So basically, what Gary did, he went ahead and bring the techniques to the layperson, everybody, also to the professionals, simplifying and streamlining these techniques for everyone to be able to use it easily. It's basically people learn it and they can see the amazing results. Now, EFT was officially founded by Gary Craig. So remember, Gary's basically fine-tune the technique, simplify the technique, make it easy so people don't feel like, oh my god, this is too much of information. I just don't really want to do it because it's so complicated. Forget about it. No, he keep it so simple that hey, you know what? Everybody can learn about it. And in fact, EFT has been used by a lot of hypnotherapists, NLP practitioner. Some people just basically do EFT by itself, stand alone. And a lot of psychologists, psychiatrists now, they also learn about EFT and use it as a tool to help their own patients. So Gary called EFT as a common sense approach because it's simple to use. And when applied appropriately, it does not involve any negative side effects. So, how nice is that? You don't have to take any pills, okay? No surgical procedures, no needles. Remember, I talk about acupuncture? No needles. Especially when it comes to emotional issues, you'll be amazed that acupuncture is definitely an excellent tool to help an individual to resolve some of the emotional um, issues. And sometimes, because when a practitioner is helping a patient, they do talk, within a session, but sometimes not necessarily dig too deep into that patient's personal life. Okay. And sometimes it's the patient who doesn't really want to reveal or disclose too much of a personal information and their personal feelings. So doing EFT, you have your own privacy when it comes to emotions. Let's say if I'm upset at somebody at work, okay, I don't have anybody to talk to. I just bottle in that emotion. And a couple of weeks later, I'm just really like, I need to punch somebody's face. Get really frustrated because I don't have any close friends. I don't have any any other channel for me to be able to vent out how frustrated I am. Now doing EFT, it'll be perfectly works out for this one individual because now this person can basically go home, shut the door, keep it inside your own private space while you're doing it. So nobody knows what you're doing, and basically, you have your private moment to be honest to yourself with your true emotions and be able to resolve and release it and let it go. So it is very powerful. And also, we don't have to push or pull on the body, do any modification on the body. We don't have to. We don't have to use the e-stems, do electrical acupuncture stimulation. We don't have to do anything at all without any tools, specific equipment. We don't have to. So it's beautifully created and designed for everyone. Now, a great example of our body's energy system is to compare it to a TV set. Basically, I learned this while I was learning through the EFT training. Um, it's this materials, this part of it is really coming from Susie Kappas. She was excellent. She's a big fan of EFT. And when she talked about this whole EFT technique, she basically really provided with pretty awesome examples and practices. Of course, for this clip, this video today, uh, I'm just presenting and sharing with all of you with some introductory information. There are a lot more to it and a lot more practice can be done on your own or in a group. So what she used, basically, she talked about like just compare your body system to a TV set. With a TV, even though you don't see the electricity, you know there's electricity because you can actually watch the TV, you can watch the show, you can hear the sounds, you can see the images on the TV. So you know electricity is there, even though you cannot see electricity, just like our body energy system in our body. We don't see energy, but we know we have the energy because we're still alive, all of us. Now imagine to take off the back of the TV set. Let's just talk about the old school TV. Maybe a little bit easier for you to visualize it. And just basically pounding around, poking around with a screwdriver on the back of the TV with all those components. That's what I call like causing the trauma, right? You're banging on it, poking on the TV set, on the back of the TV set, you're causing trauma and reroute the electrical flow. And then the picture and sound will become erratic and causing this electrical zzz, right? So that zzz in the TV is like the TV is having its own version of a negative emotion. It's kind of interesting. When I learned it, actually it makes sense. I found it as a very good analogy how she used it to describe when our body is having a disruption or traumatic emotion that we have. It's causing this zzz in our system. So in order to fix this zzz, simply by tapping, just like fixing the wires on the back of the TV. And this zzz is a disruption in the body's energy system. And this missing link, that's what we call the missing link, is the intermediate step between the distressing thought or triggers, that's what I call it, and the negative emotion. So take a snapshot here, okay? First, we have a distressing memory or thought or trigger, okay? Then second part, which is the middle part, right? The intermediate step, energy disruption, the missing link. A lot of times we don't think about this part, which is the second part. We overlook it or we are just not aware of it. All we notice is basically number three, the negative emotion. We see some trigger, we see somebody talking about same thing with the same tone of voice, the same way treating me, talking to me, drive me nuts, and I feel that frustration and anger towards this person. So basically, usually we tend to notice number one and number three. We don't see number two. Okay. Now, humans are basically made of 60 to 80% water, depending on the age. Water is an amazing conductor of energy. For those of you who knows about healing, generally speaking, okay, whether it's Western or Eastern or a combination of both, okay, we know that water is important. And we talk about it over and over to our clients, to our patients. But then people are like, yeah. I like to drink a couple of beers. I like to drink some soda pops. Okay. Think about it. Our body is majority of this water. It's not just because what we're made of. And also, if you break down the waters into the simple components, hydrogens and oxygens, right? We talk about the electrolytes all the time when we talk about replenish our body to have a better conductivity. It's basically the water. We talk about the water, how important it is because of the structure of the water that holds the body's many different parts together. It's an excellent natural electrolyte. So the more water we drink, especially when you are going for a acupuncture treatment, a massage, reflexology, okay, get a foot massage, even doing like chiropractic type of work, if you receive a treatment, before and after, it's always good to drink more water. It's to be able to let the body to flush out the toxins and also to increase the conductivity, the electrolytes. Okay, when you have more, then the healing can be happening a lot faster. This is a natural healing formula. That's why I have to mention about water because a lot of times we tend to forget about how important it is. Okay, in the book that is called Energy Medicine in Therapeutics and Human Performance, James Oshman wrote that a 5% increase in water consumption can boost our body's ability to pass along those healing information by roughly 5 million times. This is a huge, significant figure when it comes to healing just by simply drinking a lot more water. 5% increase. You can basically boost your healing much, much faster. Okay? So perhaps today it will be another friendly reminder just to remind you, hey, water is very important. You want to heal faster, whether you're going through a surgery or just as simple as a cold or flu, drink more water. It definitely will help you to recover faster. Okay, so when it comes to EFT, it's basically the EFT consists of a basic, what we call basic recipe, step by step recipe. Okay, there are 5 steps, at least with me. Okay, will be 5 steps. Number one, which is called the setup. Number two is the sequence, which what I call it, by the way, the filet mignon, the main entree. of your whole process. Okay, the tapping, the real tapping for those 10 points tapping. Okay, number three is reassessment of the intensity level and sequence again. Of course, before we start, we'll always want to set a reference point by assessing, let's say, pain. Okay, from 0 to 10, 10 is the worst. Okay, give yourself a number. Or if you're helping somebody, make sure you have a piece of paper, jot down the initial number from 0 to 10. Use that scale for everything, for pain, for any discomfort, for any emotional stress. You use the scale, put it down on a piece of paper so you know where you begin with. And then later on, when you reassess on step three, reassessment of the intensity level and the sequence again, that will be the time that you'll be able to tell if the number is dropping to, let's say, if I start with a 10, I have a severe pain on my lower back. I just barely able to walk or sit. Okay, 10 out of 10. Now after the tapping, I'm able to feel like, for example, like 8 or 7. Okay, great. There's an improvement. So we'll continue. So basically, after you're doing it over and over, basically each step you have to do it 3 rounds. Okay, step one, step two, step three. You have to do it like 3 rounds, and to reassess it. Okay, at step three. Then, if you need to continue to work on it because the number is not too low, we want to be able to bring the number all the way to 1. Okay, then we can move on to step 4, which is called 9-gamut procedure. This is what we call to do the fine tuning. Hopefully, by finishing step 4, that number 1 will be brought down to 0, and then we can test it, which is step 5. Okay, so that's what we call the basic recipe. For those of you, if you are very interested in it, feel free to Google it. You most likely you can find some of the pictures to show you where exactly to tap. I'm not making an actual video. I'm using this PowerPoint to make a video just to uh, explain just enough um, information with you. So if you want to get the whole recipe, guidelines, and the verbiage, feel free to email me. Okay, I'm here to help all of you. Uh, you can basically go to my website or simply email me. My email address is directmindpowers@gmail.com, which you can see on the screen right now. I'll also show you my address. If you're locally in Southern California, you can feel free to contact me. Perhaps you can go to my website just to see what other services I offer. But when it comes to EFT, I do it just to help people. Um, I don't necessarily just to do EFT by itself to charge a client to do EFT only. And in fact, I've been using EFT to help a lot of people. Now I just begin uh, to do EFT workshop, help out this nonprofit which is called Wellness Works in Glendale, California, to help the veterans and the staff members to teach them how to use it, and so that we will be able to help other veterans to show them how to do it. And in fact, I think that coming up, we're going to have like tapping circle, maybe once a month, maybe more frequent than once a month, at the center on Fridays. So we'll see what happens. And to be able to give back to the community, this is one of the things that I think that it truly touches my heart for me as a veteran, as a disabled veteran myself. I'm able to share this and be able to offer this tool and this opportunity to get together with other fellow veterans and help them out using this technique. Um, Again, thank you so much for your time, and feel free to email me. Okay, if you're local here in Southern California, feel free to call me, give me a call, leave me a message if I don't answer the phone. Okay, so email will be the best way to reach me, or just visit my website. Okay, there are a lot of charity works, any specific event, workshops, I'll post it on the website as well. Follow me on Facebook if you want to, and just see on the screen, I give you all the information. So thank you so much, and let's see what I'm gonna come up with next mini video or demonstration for all of you. Let me think about it. Okay, thank you so much. Uh, have a wonderful day.